Hello guys, you ready now? So we are going to go to the next part of this course. And for today, we are going to revise the rough draft that we already have. After seeing the first video, now we are going to the next stage in doing the revision, which is looking at the paragraphs. Of course, many of you are familiar with the idea of a paragraph. You even took a class called paragraph writing, right? But now we are going to look at paragraphs from a slightly different perspective. It will enrich your understanding of paragraph that you have gained in your paragraph writing class. But now let me show you, as usual, my PowerPoint for, yeah, what is paragraph, by the way? Of course, you know that paragraph is, it's a unit of thought. When we see a paragraph as a unit of thought, then it merely means that in one paragraph, there is one single unit. It's something that it is a collection of some things that support one particular idea. That's it, just a unit of thought. And it's just the same. The same thing happens in uh, fiction. In creative writing and academic writing, both use paragraph as a unit of thought. We agree on that. But now we find actually a slightly different execution of this idea of unit of thought. Now let me make it more specific by showing you the particular different executions, okay, between paragraph in academic writing and paragraph in creative writing. In academic writing, a paragraph consists of two parts, the main sentence and the supporting sentences, right? And the supporting sentences they usually have the elaboration, they also have the evidence or support, and then there's also explanation of the evidence. And sometimes it is a must to close a paragraph, to conclude a paragraph with a conclusion. That's the common idea of a paragraph in academic writing. If your paragraph in academic writing doesn't really have these elements, then I, as a lecturer, might want you to revise it so that it becomes a full unit of thought that starts with a proposition or a claim, and then you support it with evidence, and you support it with the warrant or explanation of the claim. It's just the same like what you learned in your inferential reading class, right? But in creative writing, the paragraph is a little bit more fluid. It still has the element of a main sentence and supporting sentences, but sometimes, this is the unique part, sometimes you don't need more than one sentence to support that main sentence. How does that work out? Well, you will get several examples here. When a paragraph is a narration, then chances are you will use a lot of sentences to explain something, to narrate something. And usually you do that chronologically, right? For example, uh, it was a beautiful cry at night. What is that? What is the beautiful cry at night? First of all, at first, I heard it like the whisper of the wind. But as minutes went by, I started hearing sobs. And at the end, it's a full cry. So there is a narration like that. It can be a narration or a chronological narration, but it can also be a description. And in a descriptive paragraph, you will find a writer trying to explain something, to show you something either temporally or spatially, like describing something from the left. First of all, you see that iron board, and then on the right, you see clothes hanging by. And the third part, you will see a cup, a closet that looks beautiful. So it can be described spatially like that. And uh, the, other than the two ways, whether it is a narrative or whether it is a description, you will find more detailed types of paragraph in fiction. And these are some of them that I think will be useful for you in your writing. But of course, it is not exhausted. I mean, it is not, these are not all. You can find more types of paragraph. But here I will look at this only, okay? So there is a descriptive paragraph. Descriptive paragraph is something that tries to describe a situation or describes uh, a person, a place, and so on. It's a descriptive paragraph, something that tries to describe the situation or objects. But you will also find a dialogue paragraph in fiction. And this is not something that you find in academic writing. In academic writing, we don't write dialogues, but in fiction, we write dialogues. And each line of a dialogue in fiction is usually presented as one paragraph. Here is one example, okay? Now, this, this dialogue between Dewey and Jack, this is, it contains two paragraphs because what Dewey says has to be presented in one paragraph and what Jack says is also presented in one paragraph. So this one, not again, Jack, Dewey said, I've told you about this. I was in a rush, Jack said, slamming his car keys on the table. So these are two paragraphs. And it doesn't even have a main sentence and supporting sentences, right? But still, you have this paragraph. And you will find that these paragraphs have more than just one function in creative writing. If in academic writing, a paragraph is simply a unit of thought, and each unit of thought must be soundly supported with proposition, evidence, and explanation or warrant. Or you can use a topic sentence, elaboration, and then you give evidence, and then explanation and conclusion. That's in academic writing. But in creative writing, the function is a bit more various because we tell stories, we tell about life, and we tell about situations that are very various, and we cannot just generalize it into one way of presentation. So in creative writing, paragraphs can, in fiction especially, fiction or non-fiction but creative, a paragraph can it can frame one unit of thought, which is like the kind of paragraph that you write in academic writing, right? It can frame one unit of thought like that, but it can also separate between one thing to another. If, for example, in the beginning you talk about a room in one house, and then later on you talk about the garden of that house, then paragraphs work to separate them. You talk about the room in one paragraph, and then you talk about the garden in another paragraph. So the function of a paragraph here is to separate sections, either sections that are temporal, like now and later, or sections that are spatial, like this room and another room. And the third thing is it serves to also link sections. If to separate section means to separate between one place or one time from another place or another time, then a paragraph can also link, like a paragraph about one room and a paragraph about one garden can be linked by another paragraph. And the third paragraph functions to link, to be the bridge between the paragraph about the room and the paragraph about the garden. So that's the third function of the paragraph. But these are not all, okay? It can also create tempo. How do you create tempo with a paragraph? So when you write dialogues, the tempo tends to be quick because one person says something, another person responds to that, and the first person replies again, and so on. It will be quick paced, but you can halt it, or you can reduce the speed by, for example, giving a paragraph that describes the situation of the room where these two people are quarreling or talking or having a dialogue. So that's also the function of a paragraph. You don't want to keep using uh, what is it, fast-paced storytelling, but you can also interject that with a paragraph that slows down the tempo. And it's generally known that when you write shorter paragraphs, you tend to have a faster paced tempo. And you can then try to variate your paragraphing by using, for example, after using a fast paced paragraph, you insert a paragraph that is longer, describing something, so that the tempo is not only fast. Okay, next, this is also important to dramatize events. And usually when something happens, for example, the main character, Jack, got into the house and he was surprised. And he never thought he would see that. That's one paragraph. Then the next paragraph, to dramatize that event, you can say, blood all over the place. It's just one word paragraph or one phrase paragraph. It can be a one sentence paragraph. The purpose of this kind of paragraphing is to dramatize something, to give emphasis on certain things. That's why in novels or short stories, you often find a paragraph that only has either one sentence or only one word. The purpose is to dramatize something, to dramatize the event. And I guess that's how you will be able to try to dramatize your paragraph. Now, as usual, I would like to give you one example from my own draft, which I have told you earlier I will have to revise, okay? Now, let me share that rough draft of mine. Oh, by the way, I like to use this software called Focusrite when I write, because it gives me the option of how the page will look. And in my case, I like to make it look black with green letters like this. Okay, like this one. The moment I reached the library and bookstore Kinaruku at 3 p.m., I felt so relieved. It really happened. It had been 30 years since I had visited blah, 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 and so on. And I said yesterday that I was going to erase this part, right? The part when he welcomed me. So I will, oh, sorry, this one. I will erase that part, and I will make the paragraphing better by applying the principles of paragraphs, which is a main paragraph, main sentence, and supporting sentences. Now here, what I will do is, instead of stating it like this, I would give a first sentence that captures everything. It was a warm landing. Maybe that's how I will open it. What is a warm landing? Warm landing is about the situation when I hit the ground, or when I got to the bookstore and library and I felt good about it. Why was it good? Because it had been 13 years since I went there, since I had been there last time. And when I got there, I saw a lot of things change, but it felt vibrant. There were murmur of people inside the place and also outside, which basically gave me a warm atmosphere. So I would call it a warm landing, like a plane, or a warm, soft landing, to give that impression of airplane landing. And then it was a warm, soft landing. And then the moment I reached the library and bookstore. Maybe I will change it to I reached Kinnaruku Library and Bookstore at 3 p.m. and felt relieved. And felt relieved it really happened. It has been 13 years since. Okay, I will make it more concise, I guess, since my last visit. My last and only visit. Okay. Being there again for a second time, I saw many things change, or to give a dramatic event, or I will just say, I saw many things change, or at least that's at least they look different from what I had in my head. From outside the place, the place looked more vibrant. There was a warm cafe type murmur from inside the house. So this is how I will change it. I will show that this is the first paragraph, and sorry, the first sentence, which is the main sentence, and the rest is are the supporting sentences. And hopefully, by looking at the first sentence only, you will get a sense of what I will be telling in the entire paragraph here. And these are already one dialogue, one paragraph. This is already my second nature now, but with you, especially those who haven't written any short stories or creative nonfiction, you will have to keep reminding yourself that each line of a dialogue needs to be in one paragraph. All right, I guess that's all from me. Hopefully you can start working on your own paragraphs, and later on you will revise each other's work. Okay, guys, I'll see you soon. Thank you.